building a community of lifelong learners.
Welcome to Teach Yourself series. This is Lesson 5 of Microsoft Excel. Ideally, this course covers topics for experienced Excel user, but anyone is welcome to learn. This course will teach you some advanced topics in Excel. I hope you will find it useful. Let's start the course. Welcome to Lesson 5. In this lesson, we will cover the following topics. We start with Introduction to Excel Charts. Then on second section, we discuss about Excel Advanced Charts. Then we continue with Excel Dynamics Charts. Next, we will cover What If Analysis topic. We wrap up this lesson with Excel Track and Protect topic. Now let's start with Introduction of Excel Charts. In layman term, Excel chart allows to show your data in graphical format. Excel charts makes it easy to visualize, make comparisons, and display data trends. We will discuss the following topics. First, we start with understanding Excel charts. Then, we will start creating simple Excel chart. We will also briefly discuss about layout style. Then we discuss about other chart options. Now, let's start with our exercise. In our exercise, we start with inserting a simple chart. First, we select range of cells, in this case from cell A1 to cell F11, which include column titles and row labels. This selected cell range will be the source data for the chart. Next, go to Insert tab, select the desired chart type by clicking the drop-down arrow on Chart column. In our exercise, we will select the first 2D column chart. The selected chart will be inserted into the worksheet. There are many chart types available in Excel, if you click the recommended charts command. The Insert Chart dialog box will appear, and will recommend charts based on your source data. After we insert a chart, we can change the way our data is displayed. We can add chart elements such as chart titles, legends, and data labels. These chart elements will make our chart easier to read and understand. To add a chart element, click the Add Chart Element command on the Design tab. Then choose the desired element from the drop-down menu. In our example, we want to edit a chart element, like a chart title. We can simply double-click the placeholder and begin typing. An alternative to chart elements is the Quick Layout command. Simply click Quick command from Design tab. In our example, we will select the Layout 11 from the drop-down arrow in Quick Layout command. The chart style will be applied to our chart. Besides Quick Layout command, there are other chart styles, which allow you to quickly modify the look and feel of our chart. We could change our chart style by selecting the desired style from the Chart Styles group. In our case, we will try chart style number 4. If we click the drop-down arrow on Chart Styles, there are more predefined chart styles available. Excel allows you to customize and organize your charts. For example, we can rearrange a chart's data, change the chart type, and move the chart to a different location in a workbook. In our example, we will change our chart's data. We will switch the rows and columns, so the chart will group the data by month, with columns for each day. Please note, the chart contains the same data, it's just organized differently. First, we select the chart. Then, we go to Design tab, and click Switch Row/Column command. Now, our chart's data is switched. In our example, the data is grouped by month and column for each day. Sometimes we make mistake, and we want to change the chart type. First, we select the chart. Then from Design tab, we click Change Chart Type command. Change Chart Type dialog box appear. We will select Line Style. We can hover our mouse to each style, to have a glimpse or preview of the style. Then, we click OK button. Our chart will be changed from column chart to line chart. Now, let's move on with our next exercise. We will move our chart this time. First, we select our chart. Then on Design tab, we click Move Chart command. The Move Chart dialog box appear. We will select New Sheet, and leave the sheet name as default, and click OK. Now our chart has been moved to New Sheet. If we changed our mind, we can do the same steps, to move the chart back to origin place. First we select the chart, and click Move Chart command. On Move Chart dialog box, this time we will select Object In, and click OK button. Our chart is now moved back and appear in original place. This concludes our discussion on Introduction to Excel chart. This chapter covers creating advanced Excel charts. Excel has many advanced charting features. The examples provided in this tutorial is not exhaustive list. The scope of this tutorial will cover the following topics: multi-category chart, milestone chart, Gantt chart. Let's start with our exercise. If you recall, in our previous exercise, we do not have category of data. In this exercise, we will have a category of data and create a chart. This type of chart is useful to distinguish the values between categories visually. To create a multi-category chart in Excel, first we need to arrange the data in the categorical manner, like you see on the screen. We already categorized our data into category of fruit, meat, and vegetables. First, we select the data. In this case, we will select cell range from A1 to cell C11. Then, we go to Insert tab, and click drop-down arrow from column chart, and select 2D clustered bar. Now, we have a chart with different category. Double-click on the chart to open the Format Data Chart area. Then, we could change the fill to gradient fill. Click on plus sign, and check the Data Labels option in the Chart Elements menu. We could also remove the grid lines by unchanged-decking the option in the Chart Elements menu. We can change our chart style format by changing different color for each category. First, select the first bar, and next double-click it, and change the fill color accordingly. We have completed creating a simple multi-level category chart. In our next exercise, we will create project milestones chart. Milestone charts, or also known as timeline charts, is one of the most common charts in Excel. It is used to display project scope and timelines. In our exercise, we have project activity data as shown on the screen, with date column and activity column. We need to create third column, which we called it number column as helper. In our exercise, the column number are required to set the height and directions of project events. First, we select cell A2 to cell A7, and cell C2 to C7. Then, we go to Insert tab, click Column Chart, and click 2D Column, and select Clustered Column. Now we have a bare timeline chart created, but we need to make some adjustment and formatting style. If chart already selected, click on the plus sign that bring up the chart elements. Then go to Data Labels, click right arrow, and click More Options. Check the value from cells option, and select cell range B2 to cell B7, and uncheck value option. Click on the chart, and click the plus sign again, to bring up chart's elements, then click right arrow next to error bar, and click More Options. On the format error bars, select minus on vertical error bar, and no cap for the end style. Change to 100 on percentage on error amount, and click Close. Click on blue bar, then go to Format, select No Fill for Shape Fill, and No Outline in Shape Outline. Go to Format again, and click Weight as 3-point and change color to blue. Uncheck grid lines on chart elements, and also primary vertical on axis. Click the horizontal line, then go to Format tab, change the color to blue and weight to 1.5, and change to arrows. Lastly, we will change the chart title to Project Timelines. We have created a simple timeline or milestone chart. Next exercise, we will create Gantt chart. A Gantt chart represents projects, or tasks, in the form of cascading horizontal bar charts. It illustrates project work breakdown structure or WBS, by showing the project duration and finish dates, and the dependencies between project activities. Gantt chart helps to track the project tasks against scheduled time or predefined milestones. In our exercise, assuming we have the following project activities, as shown on screen. As commonly seen in any project, we need to have task duration. You will notice, the duration column contains formula, which minus end date with start date. We start by selecting cell range, from cell B1 to B7. Then, go to Insert tab, click drop down arrow on column chart, and select 2D bar then stack bar chart. While the cart still selected, go to Design tab and click Select Data command. On Select Data Source dialog box, click Add button on the left. On Series Name type Duration, and click on Series Values button, and select Range from cell D2 to D7, and hit Enter. And click OK. Still on Select Data Source dialog box, make sure Start is selected, and click Edit button on the right column. Select cell range from A2 to A7, and click OK. Now, click OK to close the Select Data Source dialog box. Now, we will apply Format and Style. Click the blue bar, then go to Format tab, and select No Fill for Shape Fill, and No Outline for Shape Outline. Now the blue bars are missing, only left the orange bars are showing. As the graph are showing in reverse order, we will need to fix it. Click on the project activity, and right-click and select Format Axis, and put a check mark on categories in reverse order. As you can see, there are many white spaces on our Gantt chart. We need to remove them. We also need to bring our task closer to the left axis. First, click on cell B2, right-click and select Format Cells, then go to General tab. Please take note the number, on my screen showing 44,569. Then click Cancel. Click on the dates, or horizontal value axis inside our Gantt chart, then right-click and select Format Axis. Under Axis Options, change minimum to the number we recorded in the previous step, which is 44,569. Adjust, major to 15 and minor to 3 and click Close. Now, click any orange bar inside our chart. Right-click mouse, and click Format Data Series. Change gap width to 0, and click Close. Now, resize our Gantt chart to make it bigger. Select our Gantt chart again, and click on plus sign to bring up the chart elements. Put a check mark on chart title. On the grid lines, click the right arrow, and then put a check mark on each option. Lastly, double-click the chart title and change it to Gantt chart. You'll notice, if I change the end date, the duration will be updated, and the chart automatically adjusted accordingly. We have completed creating our Gantt chart. This exercise concludes our discussion on this topic. Excel dynamic charts allow us to change the chart based on user selection. For example, the chart will be updated as soon as the button is clicked. We will discuss and practice the following subtopics. First, we start creating dynamic chart range. Then we discuss dynamic chart with selection box. And lastly, we will create dynamic chart titles. Now, let's start with our exercise. Let's start our exercise by creating dynamic chart range. A dynamic chart range is Excel chart that updates automatically when the data source change. We can create dynamic chart range using Excel table. In our example, we have the following data in cell A3 to cell B6. We will convert this data into table to create dynamic chart range. First, select the cell range from A3 to B6, then click Insert tab and click Table. On the dialog box, make sure My Table Has Headers is tick, then click OK. Now we have converted our data into table. The next step would be to insert the chart. Click the same cell range, and select Insert tab, and click 2D pie chart. Now, we have created Excel pie chart. If we add new data into our table, for example we add banana and the price. Our pie chart would also get updated automatically. If we change the price for apple, our pie chart would also get updates. So that's about dynamic chart range, is simple and easy to create. If you notice, our data has a title, which is Fruit Price 2022, and it does not get reflected on our chart. Our pie chart's title is price, which is a static text. We want our chart title also dynamic, and make it more relevant with our data. What we can do, is simply click the title, and put a formula in it. In this case, we will enter cell A1, which is the title for our data. When we change our data title, the chart title will also get updated. So that's the beauty of dynamic chart title. In the next exercise, we will create a simple dynamic chart. Dynamic chart allows us to interactively switch views depending on the selection from the drop-down list. Before inserting the chart, we need to prepare a dynamic data source. Currently we are using the static data, as shown on the screen. Since our chart is going to be dynamic, not static, we need to create a drop-down list, which our chart will respond, depending on which month we select. First we will select cell O2, as the drop-down list, to select the month. After selecting cell O2, go to Data tab, and click Data Validation drop-down arrow. Select List from Allow field, and on the Source field, enter cell range B1 to F1, and click OK. We put the title month and formatting yellow. Next on cell I1, we enter the following formula, which is equal sign O2. Which means, whatever we select on cell O2, will also be displayed on cell I1. We will copy the content A2 to A11, and paste it on cell H2 to H11. We will enter the following formula, shown on screen, on cell I2 all the way cell I11. Basically, what this formula does is, it will match the cell contents, from cell B2 to cell F11, depending on row day, and column month selection. Now, let's test our formula. When we select the month on cell O2, the corresponding data will be displayed automatically on cell I2 to I11. So that's our preparation for our dynamic chart. Now, let's insert our chart. First select the cell range, in this case, from cell H1 to cell I11. Then go to Insert tab, click Insert Column Chart and select Clustered Column. Now our chart has been displayed. We will move our chart, and hide our dynamic data, for better presentation. As shown on screen, if we select certain month on cell O2, the chart will correspond, by displaying the correct data and title. This concludes our exercise, on Excel Dynamic Chart. One of the useful feature in Excel, is called Whatif analysis, which allows you to experiment, and answer questions with your data, even when the data is incomplete. Excel Whatif analysis, basically is the process, of changing the values in cells, to see how those changes will affect the outcome of formulas on the worksheet. In this lesson, you will learn Whatif analysis tools. First is Scenarios tools. Second is Goal Seek tools. And lastly, Data Tables tools. Now let's start with our exercise. Excel Whatif analysis, is the process of changing the values in cells, to see how those changes will affect the outcome of formulas on the worksheet. There are three kinds of what-if analysis tools. First is Scenarios tool. Second is Goal Seek. And lastly data tables. Now, let's start with Scenario tool. In our example, we have the following simple data. We want to forecast how much profit or losses if certain number of apples are sold. In our data, we have created a simple formula in cell D2, E2, and G2. For example, for cell E2 the unsold quantity, the formula would be total quantity minus sold quantity. And for cell G2 the profit, it is derived from formula, unit price times sold quantity, and minus any unsold quantity price. First, we go to Data tab, then click What If Analysis drop-down arrow, and select Scenario Manager. On this dialog box, we click the Add button, then we type in our first scenario, for example 60 sold. The changing cells would be cell C2. Then we click OK. On the next dialog box, we enter 0.6 and click OK. Then, we create next scenario for 70 sold, the changing cell still C2. And we enter 0.74 and click OK. We create the next scenario for 80 sold, 90 sold, and 100 sold, with 0.8, 0.9 and 1 as the value. Now, let's select 70 sold and click Show button. As you can see all the values, including the total profit change, correspond to our scenario. We can select the next scenario, and click Show button, we can see the total profit. Now we will click Summary button, and select cell G3 as result cell. It will create new sheet, and showing all the possible scenarios we created. We can forecast how much profit we could make, or losses we could incur, by using What If Analysis tool. Okay, now let's move on to our next tools, which is Goal Seek. The maximum profit we can get is $1,500, this is based on total quantity, which is 1,000 times $1.50 per unit price. On our sample data, currently the percentage sold quantity is 90, and total profit is $1,200, minus unsold quantity. What if we want to know how many quantity we need if we want to achieve total profit of $2,000? Let's click on What If Analysis drop-down arrow, and this time we select Goal Seek. On the Goal Seek dialog box, we will set cell G3, and we set value as 2000. And by changing cell B2. Our goal is to achieve total profit of $2,000, and we need to know how many quantity are required. Click OK button. As shown on screen, based on current sold quantity 90%. We need quantity of more than 1,600 to achieve profit $2,000, considering 10% are unsold. Now click OK to close the Goal Seek status dialog box. Now we come to our last discussion, which is Data Table. Data Table allows us to quickly try out different values for formulas. Data Table will quickly calculate how much profit we will get if we sell 60% or 70% of quantity ANS on in the form of a table. Still using the same data, we will select cell J2 and we type the formula, =G3. Then we type 60%, 70% all the way to 100% on cell I3 to I7. Then we select range cell from I2 to J7. And we click Whatif analysis drop down arrow, and select data table. Under column input cell, we select cell C2 and click OK. Now the table is calculated, and showing profit for different percentage quantities sold. This exercise concludes our discussion about Whatif analysis. This is the last topic for lesson 5. We will cover topics related to track changes and comments, as well as protecting Excel worksheet. Sometimes in a typical office environment, we would be working on a single Excel worksheet, and collaborate or shared with other coworkers. When we collaborate the Excel worksheet, you may add comments or mark changes. Excel allows you to do these using features called track changes and comments. And we want to keep our Excel worksheet private, to prevent unauthorized access. We will cover the following subtopics: understanding track changes, reviewing changes, understanding Excel comments, and lastly, protecting Excel worksheet. Now let's start with Excel track changes. Excel track feature allows us to keep track of what has been changed on our worksheet, especially when you share your worksheet with other users. When track changes is turned on, every cell you edit will be highlighted with a unique border and indicator. How to turn on track changes? First click the Review tab, next click the Track Changes command, then select Highlight Changes from the drop-down menu. A dialog box will appear. We will put a check mark on Track Changes while editing option, then we will click OK button. Excel will prompt to save our workbook. Click OK. Track Changes is now turned on. Now, we will edit cell D2. A triangle and border color will appear on cell D2. If there are multiple reviewers, each person will be assigned a different color. If we select the edited cell in D2, we will be able to see a summary of the track changes. We can also view changes on a new worksheet. A new worksheet will be created, called History, which lists everything what have been changed, including the old and the current value. Let's save our workbook. From the Review tab, we will click the Track Changes command again, then select Highlight Changes from the drop-down menu. On Highlight Changes dialog box, put a check mark on the box next to List Changes on a new sheet, then click OK. The track changes will be listed on their own worksheet, called History. Changes made into our workbook must be reviewed, and either accepted or rejected. To review track changes, from the Review tab, click Track Changes, then select Accept Reject Changes from the drop-down menu. If prompted, click OK to save your workbook. On the dialog box, put a check mark on Not Yet Reviewed field, then click OK. Accept or Reject Changes dialog box will appear. Click Accept or Reject for each change in the workbook. Excel will move through each change until you have reviewed them all. After changes have been accepted or rejected, the track changes will still appear in your workbook. To remove them completely, we need to turn off track changes. From the Review tab, a dialog box will appear. Uncheck the box next to Track Changes while editing, then click OK. Click Yes to confirm that you want to turn off track changes and stop sharing your workbook. Now let's move on with comments. Comments allows us to provide feedback instead of editing the contents of a cell directly. To add a comment, select the cell where you want the comment to appear. In our example, we will select cell D2. From the Review tab, click the New Comment command. A comment box will appear. We will type our comment, then we will click anywhere outside the box to close the comment. The comment will be added to the cell, showing the red triangle in the top right corner. Select the cell again to view the comment. To edit a comment, select the cell containing the comment you want to edit. From the Review tab, click the Edit Comment command. On the comment box, we will edit the comment for this exercise, then close the comment. To show or hide comments, from the Review tab, click the Show All Comments command to view every comment in your worksheet at the same time. All comments in the worksheet will appear. Click the Show All Comments command again to hide them. We can also show and hide individual comments by selecting the desired cell and clicking the Show Hide Comment command. To delete a comment, first we will select the cell containing the comment we want to delete. In our example, we'll select cell D2. From the Review tab, click the Delete command in the Comments group. Then the comment will be deleted. Now we come to the last topic for Lesson 5, which is protecting workbook. By default, anyone who has access to your workbook will be able to make changes, unless you protect it. To protect your workbook, first click the File tab to access Backstage View. Then on the Info pane, click the Protect Workbook command. In the drop-down menu, we will select Mark as Final. On the dialog box, click OK to confirm. On the Another dialog box, click OK again to confirm. Marking Excel document as final will discourage others from editing the workbook. Marking a workbook as final will not prevent others from making changes. We click the File tab to access Backstage View again. Then from the Info pane, click the Protect Workbook command. In the drop-down menu, this time we select Encrypt with Password. On the dialog box, type the password, click OK and re-enter the password to confirm. Please note, if you lose or forget the password, then it cannot be recovered. Password also case sensitive. Close the workbook, and click OK to save the workbook. Now try to open the workbook again. This time, it will prompt for password. We will enter the password, and click OK. Now to remove the password, access the Backstage View again. And click Protect Workbook command, and Encrypt with Password option one more time. Clear or remove the password, and click OK. Now the workbook is without password. Lastly, don't forget to save the workbook to activate changes without password. This exercise concludes our Lesson 5. I hope you will find the lesson is useful and inspiring, and please don't forget to subscribe and leave your feedback. Thank you, and have a nice day.